Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I am Ain Nurkaila binti Shapri as your moderator today. At this forum, we will discuss the historic buildings in Malaysia. So we choose the national monuments located in the capital of Malaysia as the main topic today. I will introduce our three very knowledgeable and beautiful panels. The first panel is Ashvinder Kaur Anak Perempuan Sarjit Singh. The second panel is Siti Nushahira binti Hanafiah. And the third panel is Nurul Syuhada binti Zubaidi. So, before I continue with our agenda, I will tell you a little bit about the history of how the National Monument is there and what its function is. The National Monument, also known as Tugu Negara in Malaysia, is a magnificent bronze sculpture that commemorates those who died in Malaysian struggle for freedom, principally against the Japanese occupation during World War II and the Malayan Emergency, which lasted from 1948 until 1960. The memorial site occupies an area of approximately 48.562 square meter within the same neighboring grounds of the Tranquil Lake Gardens as well as close by the Parliament House in Kuala Lumpur. This memorial site comprises of 5 areas: the monument itself as a main attraction, a long rectangular reflecting pool with fountain, a crescent-shaped pavilion, the cenotaph, and the ancillary gardens. The monument is situated at the center of the reflecting pool. The National Monument stands tall and proud at 15.4 meter. This unique sculpture was inspired and designed by renowned American sculptor Felix de Weldon and was built at a cost of 600,000 ringgit and completed in 1960 over a period of 5 years. He was also responsible for the famed USMC War Memorial in Virginia, United States. There are meaningful reasons and a lot of thought put behind these pieces of art. The monument depicts a group of soldiers holding the Malaysian national flag Jalur Gemilang. Each of the 7 bronze human figures symbolizes leadership, suffering, unity, vigilance, strength, courage, and sacrifice. Can you figure out what the poses are? Well, the center figure holds aloft the Malaysian flag. He is flanked on the left and right by 2 other soldiers, both armed. The figure on the left is armed with a machine gun, while the other carries a rifle and a bayonet. Kneeling slightly on the right side of the central figure is a fourth soldiers who is standing to a 5th wounded compatriot. So, I want to ask my first panel for our first panel, and the question is, why should we preserve the place or monuments?
Hi, I am Ashvinder Kaur, daughter of Sarjit Singh, number matric C2080941. So today I'm going to talk about why should we preserve our national monument. The national monument that I'm going to talk about is known as Tugu Negara. Tugu Negara is a historic bronze sculpture that pays tribute to those who died in combat during Malaysia's battle for freedoms against the Japanese occupation during World War II and the Malayan Emergency during 1948 until 1960. It serves as a remembrance of the bravery, courage and unity of the fighter who laid down their life for Malaysia's independence. The question now is, why should we preserve our national monuments? I think we should preserve our national monuments because they do not only convey history, but they are a part of history and enable us to touch history. Therefore, it is the task of the preservation of monument to protect these documents as originally as possible in their exciting substance and pass them to the future generation as genuine cultural heritage. Second, historic buildings are physically links to our past. Yes, we have all heard that before. It is not just about saving bricks, but also saving the layers and layers of information about our life and choose of our ancestors. Without that, we did erase the stories of our past, as if the people who came before us never exist. Third, architectural beauty is good for your brains. A relatively new area of neuroscience known as neuroaesthetic the theory that beauty in art and design makes us happy. The synaptic payoff is real. Scientists can track brain activity when people respond to design and beauty. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Next, I will ask question for panel 2. How do we preserve cultural heritage in our country?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Nusyahira binti Hanafiah. Thank you for the question, moderator. As a country with various race and culture, Malaysia is a country with various culture, arts, and historical relics that need to be well preserved. Culture heritage is the relic of physical artifact and intangible features of a group or society inherited from previous generation, preserved in the present and preserved for future generation. This heritage include tangible culture such as building, monument, book, work of art, and artifacts. Intangible such as folklore, traditional language and knowledge, as well as natural heritage including land features and biodiversity that important. There are several ways to preserve cultural heritage. The government needs to allocate a special budget to preserve the cultural heritage in Malaysia. It is time for Malaysia to take steps like other developed countries to allocate funds in the national budget to preserve cultural heritage. With enough money, cultural heritage will be taken care of in more detail. Then, it simply starts with awareness. A nation is able to preserve their culture and heritage through introducing it into education, teaching the future generation the importance of their culture and heritage should be encouraged and guarded safely through knowledge. In the modern world, media also play an extremely important role in creating awareness and building an appreciation towards the local culture and tradition.
Next, I will ask question for panel 3. Why is it important to protect archaeological sites?
Thank you, moderator, for the question. My name is Nurul Syuhada binti Zubaidi. The first question is why it is important to protect archaeological sites. To be human is to be curious, questioning, and inquisitive. People and culture are living history that have great temple deep and inspire, inquisitive, and educate us on a number of levels. For example, communities speak language that are heritage from the past. They live in society with complex culture, traditional, and regulation that have not been created on the spur of the moment. People use technology that they have not themselves invented.
Thank you for panel 3. Back to the first panel. What do you think if there is no monuments like this in our country?
Hi guys, so now I'm gonna tell you what if there were no monuments. If there were no historical monument in a country, then the country will not able to provide example and lesson to society, especially to teenagers, will not have the spirit of patriotism. This is because although some of the whole buildings only shows black event, if we appreciate the history behind the building and take lesson from the black events that have happened, we will move forward without repeating the mistakes of previous society. Second, in terms of tourists, historical building and monument are able to attract tourists, both local tourists and tourists from abroad visiting the country. If were no monuments in a country, then the tourists will not interest in traveling in that country. Furthermore, if there are no old monuments in the country, then student and research will not also have an important role in education in the country. A variety of important knowledge will not able to be learned because there are no old monuments. For example, with the presence of national monument in Kuala Lumpur, which known as Tugu Negara, people in Malaysia not only learn about the importance of Kuala Lumpur in British colonial era, but also about the life and the culture of colonials and local communities at that time. Otherwise, if there is no national monument in our country, then Malaysians will not learn about colonial culture life and local communities at that time. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Next, I will ask question for panel 2. How long does it take to preserve the place or monuments?
Thank you, moderator, for the question. The historical monument is important to maintain as a reference because it is strong evidence of an event or era that happened before. To maintain historic buildings and monuments takes a long time to always be in a good condition. Those in charge should always be sensitive to change to the structure of historic buildings and monuments. This is because in the event of damage to historic buildings and monuments, we can overcome it immediately. We only need to a few repairs in order to preserve the original of the historic building and the monuments. I hope the new generation will always appreciate the historical buildings and monuments. Thank you.
And last but not least, I will ask panel number 3. What are the agencies involved in heritage preservation in Malaysia?
The second question is, what are the agencies involved in heritage preservation in Malaysia? The first Department of International Heritage in the Conservation and Preservation of National Heritage. The department implements conventional preservation, protection, development, monitoring, and promote the country heritage. This is to ensure that the country heritage is preserved and placed in this proper place. Number 2 is National Archive Department of Malaysia. The department collects, increase and maintain national record. Various archive material are the Tuanku Abdul Rahman Memories and the Tuanku Abdul Razak Memories. Apart from that, there are many agencies in Malaysia that always protect the country heritage so that it is maintained and protected from discussion. Each agency is its own function in safeguarding the country heritage. Thank you.
So that's all from us for today. We apologize if there are any mistakes and we hope to see you again in a forum like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching.